from the band Bianco. Please give a big hand for Mr. Mark Reilly.
That's right, yeah. No, it's nice to come and play somewhere like this in lovely weather. Should be good tonight. Well, I did an album with a Dutch band called New Cool Collective. I got together with them last year and we made an album together. It's been great fun. They're such great musicians and cool guys to work with, and for me it's easy to go back and forward to Amsterdam. It takes about 40 minutes on the airplane. So we've been touring everywhere. A lot in Holland and Germany, Japan, Indonesia, Hungary. So no, it's been good. They're such good guys. You know, it's just cool. It's all different. I mean, I think what you try and do as an artist is to keep it interesting for yourself. Is to try and introduce new things as you go along. If you to maintain a long career. If you did the same thing every time, I think people would get bored, and I would get bored as well. So it's nice to work with different people, and then sometimes it'll be a bigger unit or a smaller unit, depending on, you know, with New Cool Collective, they're a ready-made band, 8 people, and we recorded it live in the studio. So that was different because previous Bianco albums we've done like layering, you know, sort of record bits at a time. Well, initially, my manager, who was my agent, is from Amsterdam, and I was saying to him that I'd like to, you know, get together with some different people for collaboration, and he suggested New Cool Collective. And when I heard what they were doing, it wasn't that different from. They had a lot of influences similar to my own. And so when we got together in rehearsal rooms, it was, you know, familiar territory, but different enough to make it interesting. I went to Stockholm to work with Magnus Lindrum, who was Mark, my manager, also managed. And the idea was to do like a jazz quartet kind of sound, or jazz combo kind of sound. So we did a couple of tunes. Then Magnus had a project he was waiting to do, and he couldn't commit any longer. So then I said to Mark, who else could we get? And he said, oh, there's a great band in Holland called New Cool Collective. So I said, okay. So we went there, and then when we started making music, it was apparent that it didn't fit with what I'd started. It was something different. So I said, okay, I'll put that on the shelf, do the New Cool Collective album, and then when I finished that, I'll bring it back and carry on. So that's what I did, and I worked with some jazz players in London. A friend of mine I worked with before, Dave O'Higgins, he's got a studio in his roof of his house in Brixton, and he sort of like does live recording. So I thought that'd be great to do it with him. So that's what I did. Got together with Dave, and then we recorded it as you know, drums, double bass, piano, 2 horns, you know, traditional like 50s, 60s jazz combo, you know. But what it was, I used to love the theme tunes from movies from that period. You know, spy movies, even James Bond. You know, the music was always brilliant. It had some Latin bongos and a bit of jazz, and then so Matt Bianco was kind of like the inspiration for the group. It was a imaginary spy that could have been in one of these films, and then we used that subject to write songs and you know, introduce Latin and jazz and pop, if you like, all together. So it was more a concept, the first album, and then the name was kind of funny because there was this person, Matt Bianco, but nobody was called Matt Bianco. It was the name of the group. So, but after a while, it just became a name, and that was it. You know, we were stuck with it. Well, some people do, and I don't really correct anybody. If people call me Matt, I was like, yeah. Well, it came out last week in Japan already. So we're going to Japan on the 23rd of August to start the new shows with the London band. So that'll be, I'll have to get learning the songs. So that's going to be exciting. And we got a new German label we were working with for us, more like a distribution. So that's going to come out in mid-September. So it'll be in Hungary mid-September, or iTunes, or however. There's CDs, but I suppose mainly it'll be downloads. Well, it's a combination. There'll be the album that we made together, which is called The Things You Love. There'll be some songs from New Cool Collective, and there'll be the Matt Bianco hits. So it's a combination, and it works really well. You know, it always goes down well, or hopefully tonight. But yeah, it's got a good energy. The band are really good. So yeah. Hello, Óbudai. Hello, summer. This is Mark Reilly from Matt Bianco.